So welcome everybody here at the Jefferson County end of the year Republican Club Party, and we got Byron here with us from Freedom Principles. And so Byron, so is this the first event in Jefferson County that you've been to?
Yeah, actually, we've been trying to get out to Jefferson County, which seems kind of weird when you live in St. Louis County. But the fact is that we just haven't really been able to learn about some of their events and things. And so when we heard about it on Facebook, we decided that we wanted to come and make an appearance.
Awesome. So first couple questions kind of deal with the election, and we're going to talk about the election pretty much all throughout here. But election reflections. So what is your overall reaction to the 2024 presidential election results?
Overall, it's awesome, great, ecstatic. Just I couldn't have been happier. The fact that President Trump, won not only an electoral landslide aspect of things, but actually won the popular vote, and so it kind of puts the kibosh on any kind of shenanigans that could potentially be played at the Electoral College here coming up in January, and he's already got great picks for his cabinet coming up, so I'm excited about January 20th taking off.
Are you planning on being there?
Oh, I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could. My wife and I are going to watch it, during the day, and then I'm actually supposedly headed to Kansas City for an event out in Kansas City area that night. So.
Very good. So the next question deals with conservative influences. So how do you believe the conservative values resonated with voters nationally as well as here in Missouri?
I think they resonated very well. I think the fact that we got the Republican Senate, and we kept the House, which was very tough. But the fact is that we still have our supermajorities here in Missouri. We have all Republican statewide offices, and we have a really conservative lieutenant governor. We have a conservative secretary of state, and from what I've seen so far from Mike Kehoe as far as some of his agenda, I believe that he's got really good conservative ideas with trying to eliminate the state income tax and things of that nature. So far, I would say on a state level, I've seen some really good bills and things coming out of the legislature's bill listings and things of that nature.
Okay, very good. So next couple questions have to deal with state impact. So with the Missouri results, how do Missouri's voting trends align or deviate from the national patterns this election cycle?
I think when you look at just about every state that Trump won, all led to the right, or went to the right. So I think overall our trends are the same. I think it's disappointing that we had Amendment 3 pass, but it only passed really in the three major urban areas of the state: Kansas City, Columbia, St. Louis. And so, which, considering what that amendment was about, I think it says very much about the conservative values of the state. And we've got to, unfortunately now we've got to try to fix that. But I think we stand a really good chance of trying to fix that.
Okay, so January 8th is the kickoff of the legislature, right? So the next couple questions kind of deal with that. How might the election results influence Missouri's legislative priorities and kind of the Missourians' expectations for that?
Well, we've always, tried to legislate. The issue is always the fact of who our speaker is, and who is the Senate leaders blocking good conservative legislation. We didn't get IP reform done last year because of Senator Caleb Rowden and Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman, killing it at the very end.
So I'm sure you're going to have some discussions with her tonight.
If she's here, maybe, I don't know. I mean, this may not be the right place to have those kind of conversations, and that's
at least reach out.
At least we'll see how things are. But the issue here is that we had an opportunity to really cement the conservative values the last legislative session, and we didn't. We seemed to always get a little bit closer, but then we we hit a roadblock. And so our hope is that, we've got to get the Amendment 3 repealed, and we need to get initiative petition reform passed. And I think, at least several of the members in the House and Senate are actively going to work to try to get that done.
Okay. So you just recently had your 2024 summit.
25.
Oh, it was 2025, but it was in 2024.
Yep.
So, for the legislative 2025 session. So there was a lot of energy there, and a lot of good actions. Without revealing some of those, specific insider things, what are some of the priorities that Freedom Principles has?
Sure. Well, our priorities are all member approved or member driven, so we don't just pick things off the wall. So the purpose of the conference that we did was to gather intel from our members and kind of determine where our priorities are. And we have at least about 14 different key legislative priorities, such as economic development, taxation and government reform, dealing with Amendment 3, initiative petition reform, illegal immigration, election integrity. So there's a lot of things under those things that we're going to be, we're finalizing the objectives under each of those key areas, and then that'll be coming out here and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we'll share that with our members, and then we'll share that information with the public and with, particularly with the legislators. We'll send them a copy saying, here's what we're going to be coming to Jefferson City for, and we hope that you're on our side.
Yeah. So you mentioned immigration, so I just saw today that Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey filed a lawsuit to eliminate Obamacare for illegal immigrants. Is there anything that you would like to touch on that?
Well, I'm glad that he's doing that. I think it's high time that we start standing up. One of our major objectives, our key principles, is to stand up for the American citizen. And we've seen over the last 4 years a serious deterioration of citizenship's rights, right to secure borders, right to vote. We've seen a lot of states, trying to pass illegal, to allow illegals to vote and things. So we've seen the value of citizenship decline over the last 4 years, and I think now it's with President Trump coming in, with the new governor coming in, we've got an opportunity to really change that direction and hopefully start standing back up for the citizen.
So, Jefferson County seems to be a somewhat of a stronghold. So, what are some of your, being living in Jefferson County myself, reaching the youth has really kind of been one of our blockers, so to speak. And is that something that Freedom Principles Missouri is actually looking to engage with the younger?
Yeah, actually, last year we actually launched a program with Turning Point USA in Kansas, over in the Kansas City side, where we actually brought them into Jefferson City, and we had them meet with the various House and Senate leaders from their area. And then they got introduced on the House floor. They got introduced on the Senate floor. We met with Senator Bratton, Representative Doug Ritchie, and Brad Hudson from the Kansas City and Southwest Missouri area, and they talked about government and why it's important to get people involved in the government and how they can get engaged. Not only everybody wants to work for the big guy, on the presidential campaigns and things, but it's really those local races that people need to start getting their feet wet and get engaged and learn, because the more you learn on the local level, the better off you're going to be when you start progressing up. And so we brought them in. We took them to lunch, and during the lunch we had former Speaker Tim Jones talk with the guests about, just, again, lobbying or, how to communicate with your legislators. We brought in Senator Bill Hardwick, hopefully Senator Bill Hardwick, And he came in and talked about just, coming down to Jefferson City and visiting with your legislator and opening up that line of communications as a young person and learning how the process works. So we're going to try to continue that on a statewide level this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. So looking ahead, what are the most critical issues Republicans and conservatives in Missouri need to focus on before the 2026 midterm?
I think repealing Amendment 3, or at least getting initiative petition reform, I should say getting a ballot initiative either through the citizen-led signature process or through the legislature to get on the August 2026 ballot. I think we need to get initiative petition reform also to be available for the August 2026 ballot, because that's where the majority of Republicans vote in the August primaries. Those are our Super Bowls. And so I think there's those two things. I think dealing with personal property taxes is a crucial thing. I think I heard Senator Eigel today on a radio show saying that we're the third highest personal property tax rate state in the country. It's ridiculous. Our education system is crashing, and we keep throwing money at it and they keep failing. They keep pushing DEI, they keep pushing social emotional learning stuff, and they're not pushing reading and writing. And so the question is why are we giving them more of our money? And so we need to reform the personal property taxes, and my hope is repealing them. But I think dealing with gold and silver, getting those two items passed, getting that passed as a form of currency in the state is another important issue here. And I just, I think, election integrity stuff. The voter ID bill is actually potentially could go to the Supreme Court on appeal from the Missouri League of Women Voters and the NAACP. They've challenged. They lost the decision, but now they're challenging it to the Supreme Court. And given that what our Supreme Court is made of, it's very possible that we could have to refight this whole photo ID for election aspect of thing, and that's going to be a big case to watch.
Yeah, and you're in St. Louis, and I think you just posted today that St. Louis.
Yeah, well, we're in St. Louis County, but I am, but St. Louis City just want to try to pass a bill that's going to give out free photo IDs to people that really have trouble getting photo IDs. And the question is, why are they doing this? Because the state already has a program that will help them get their an official state ID. This is even an official state ID. This is just like getting a card from Costco and saying, oh yeah, this is great, but that's not what, so it's not going to help you vote. You can't buy cigarettes with it. You can't buy beer with it. You can't open up a bank account. But the only thing you can do with it is access St. Louis City services.
You could vote for the mayor.
Well, you're not supposed to be able to use it to vote. But let's face it, the election board and do we have any faith that the St. Louis City government will do anything ethically to protect election integrity? No.
What's Ronald Reagan's
trust but verify, but and what's really bad about that bill is that they're not asking their immigration status to prove that they're a legal citizen. So basically, illegals.
It's a false sense of security.
Yeah, and they're going to come in there and normalize these. Well, they're a citizen. They got ID, and that's not really the case. And it's a complete waste of resources.
Well, maybe they'll be helping out President Trump and cleaning up the immigration by self-identifying.
Yeah, well, I think that's the case. But the issue here is that, if the St. Louis City passes this, President Trump has already said that any city that resists the mass deportation could lose federal dollars. And let's face it, St. Louis City is heavily dependent upon federal dollars. And that's a very big financial impact that could be coming to taxpayers if they refuse to comply. Or if they aid in the assistance of illegal immigrants getting IDs.
choices have consequences.
Exactly, and they always make bad choices.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Byron, for your time here with the Show Me Sentinel. Would you like to mention any other specific projects for Freedom Principles?
Well, I would like to mention that we are a membership-based organization. Membership is $30 for an individual, $50 for a household membership, and you can go online at freedomprincipalmo.org and join online. We're also selling tickets for our Trump Watch raffle, which we'll be doing drawing on January 20th. So tickets are $20 each, or 6 for $100. So it's a great way to bring in the new year.
Very good. Well, thank you, Byron. I appreciate you coming.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Cool.